Hello, my name is Sonia George and I'm the Executive Director of the Alliance for Affordable Internet. As you might know, we focus on policy and regulatory reform to bring about affordable internet access, primarily in developing countries. We do that in a couple of ways, but I want to share a few highlights with you. One of the things that we're very proud of having achieved in the last couple of years was not only the definition, but ensuring that the UN, the Broadband Commission, and many countries and regional organizations adopted our proposed affordability target of 142, which means 1 gigabyte of data for no more than 2% of monthly incomes, to be the norm and the target for policymakers. Why that's important? It's important because it was a way to ensure that not only policymakers and regulators were working towards actions that reduce the overall industry costs, but making sure that those cost savings and cost effectiveness would be transferred to the users. So that was a very important point in the continuum of the digital development, because countries understand and the world understands that if affordability remains a barrier, that's a major problem. We need to tackle it. However, and despite the fact that progress has been made, it's far too slow, not fast enough to really change the picture of the massive amounts of people in the global south that remain unconnected. In fact, in Africa alone, only 10 countries out of the 54 countries in the continent have achieved the 142 affordability target. This means that in all the other countries, and even in those countries that have achieved the target, there's large percentages of the population that remain excluded from the opportunities of digital development. Imagine also that because the average cost in Africa, for example, is about 7% of monthly incomes for individuals to be able to access the internet, that's far too much. That, if to put that in perspective, imagine an average American spending about $375 a month on internet access. That would make no sense and is simply unacceptable. Well, it is unacceptable everywhere in the world, regardless of where we are. So we need to do a lot better to change that picture. We at the Alliance are working with policymakers and regulators around the world in a multi-stakeholder format with the private sector, civil society, to bring about the kind of reform that not only is locally inspired, developed, but it's also bringing about solutions that will address and tackle the problems of affordability in those countries.